Hello, I'm Weliton Menezes and I'm here for one more class here on YouTube. And today's lesson is related to social class, as you can see on the screen, alright? And this lesson, if I'm not mistaken, is lesson 211, if I'm not mistaken, for guys who are studying book 4, alright? So let's go. We're gonna try to work on this vocabulary, but first we're going to work here on the verbs, with these verbs, alright? So please, let's go with me. We have afford, treat, struggle, sustain, and prosper. Now we're going to the other part. We have afforded, treated, struggled, sustained, prospered. So here, as you can see, we have these verbs, present, past, and also participle, alright? For those who are going to use present perfect, past perfect, alright? First one, afford. We're going to use when you can pay for your bills and pay for your things you're going to buy, something like that. Usually where it's a formal word, I think it's more formal than pay. It's like when you have enough money to pay for something. For example, I can afford all my luxuries because I work a lot. It means that you are able and you can pay for something, alright? So I can ask, who affords your bills? Who afford your bills? Like, is it you or someone else? Né? Então aqui no caso seria, em português não é bancar, né? Bancar. That's it. Em português, manter também, alright? So who affords your bills? For your bills. Afford for your bills. Next we have treat. Treat is like the way you talk to someone, the way you lead a conversation with somebody, alright? So a lot of people say the way you treat your mom says a lot on how you will be as a husband. So if you treat your mom well, you're gonna be a good husband. If you don't, you're not gonna be a good husband. So treats like the way you deal with people, the way you talk to them, alright? And my question with this is, do you normally treat people well? Next, struggle. Struggle is a verb that you are going to use when you are fighting something, when you find it difficult to deal with something, or when you find it difficult to do something. For example, if I find it difficult to speak French, it means that I struggle with it, alright? So my question is, what do you struggle for? What do you struggle for? Like something you struggle for doing, for example. Next is sustain. Sustain is your ability for making something or keeping something existing. It's like it was so heavy that he couldn't sustain it. It was so heavy, that he couldn't sustain it. It means that he couldn't hold it or keep it. You can use keep and hold as synonyms for sustain. My question with sustain, I've got no idea. I don't know what to ask with sustain. I just it got out of my mind. But you ask a question with this verb, alright? Because I can't think of anything. Next, prosper. Prosper. Prosper, it says, or it talks about success. It's like if you have a prosperous life, if you are gonna prosper in life, it means that you will have success. Okay, you will succeed in life. So you can use prosper and succeed as synonyms, right? So prosper is when things start going well for you. All right. So my question with prosper is, do you think you are prospering in life? Do you think you are prospering in life? All right. So here we have the conjugation with could have and the future of the past. We say like that in English: future tense, future past tense. We have here, I could have afforded, you could have treated, she, he, it could have struggled, we could have sustained, and they could have prospered. This thing says that you could have done something different in the past. So when you regret for something in the past, usually we use this structure. I would have said, I wouldn't have done, I could have helped her, she should have talked to him. Usually for things you regret in the past, you're going to use this tense, or something you are probably going to do in the future. It's like, I could help you, just let me know if you need it. All right, so in case you need me, in case it's necessary, I could help you. All right, so but I could have, it's like more for something you regret doing or not doing in the past. Like, I could have helped her when she needed me. I should have told her the truth. All right, so let's go on. I would have afforded, you would have treated, he, she, it would have struggled, we would have sustained, and they would have prospered. I'm gonna try to complete some of these examples for you to get a little bit of notion on how to do this. All right, so I could have afforded, an example, I could have afforded for all my bills if I had worked more. Okay, you could have treated her better if she had been a little bit more polite with you. He could have struggled less if he had studied more. Okay, we could have sustained. We could have sustained the family problems. I find it difficult to use sustain. Let me see if with, like, it could have sustained the way if we had used more wood. Okay, and they could have prospered. They could have prospered if they were not so lazy. All right, and okay, let's go. So you can finish the others. I just used these as examples for you to go on. All right, so here, let's go to the vocabulary. Oh, poor has more than two O's. I'm sorry. Now poor, two O's. All right, so let's go. Rich, poor, luxury. You can say luxury or luxury. Both are correct. Slum, privilege, underprivileged, extravagant. Social status, segregation, crime, upper class, lifestyle, middle class, working class, aristocrat. Aristocrat is a difficult one for me. It's a hard one for me. Business, prosperous, poverty, privilege, untouchable, snob, conflict, politician, homeless is an easy one, wealth, medical care, treatment, prejudice, socialite, suburb, that's a hard one for me, suburb, and hunger. All right, so let's go work one by one. Here we have rich. As you know, rich is a person who has a lot of money. So if you've got a lot of money, I can tell you you're rich, and I would like to be rich. Okay, so my question with rich is, who's the richest person you know? Who's the richest person you know? As you can see, I used superlative, right? Now poor, unfortunately I'm poor. So poor is a person who's like lack of money. It's like lack of money, it's a poor person, all right? So a person who lives on the breadline, okay? Usually someone who has enough to survive. So it's a poor person. And also you can use, oh, poor guy, like that's a pity, like poor guy. Poor, am I going to ask with poor? Going to ask with poor. Are you a poor person? Are you a poor person? Just to ask. Now luxury. Okay, luxury is something that is really good. Luxury is all the things you can buy with your money. You can live comfortable. So living comfortably, it's like living luxury when you live with luxury, all right? So my question is, who pays for your luxuries? Who pays for your luxuries? Now we have slum. Slum, is this picture right for slum? Doesn't look like a slum.
It isn't.
Yeah, it's not.
It's a lot of buildings.
Yeah, because slum's the opposite.
But I didn't find any.
Yeah, it's like
of the
slum.
picture.
It what is surrounds it.
Yes.
Surrounds it in the hills. It's slum.
It's because we can see.
Yeah, like this, like
It's
this.
there, but we can't see.
you can't see it. You don't care. Usually people don't care. Unfortunately. So slum, it's like living in a poor place, like houses and houses, if we can call that house, because usually they're very small, only one room, that people, some people call them barracos, all right? And what I'm going to say, and usually they are, especially in Rio de Janeiro, they build the favelas, they build the slums in the hills, all right? So that's it. So you can call it favela or you can call it slum, but usually we call it favela. Even when I've been abroad, they used to call it favela. She comes from the favela, so like, okay, slum, workplace. So nothing to do with the picture, like what borders the picture, all right? My question is, have you ever lived in the slum, in the favela? Have you ever lived in the favela? Or have you ever lived in the slum? Now, privilege. Privilege, what am I going to ask with privilege? Okay, so first, privilege is a person who is like lucky and usually lucky, okay? It's someone who has things on their hands, like they can buy things, they can study where they want to, they can travel where they want to. It's like, it's a privilege, all right? So it's someone, okay? Privilege. My question is, do you think you are privileged? Do you think you are privileged? Next, we have underprivileged, which is the opposite, okay? So we have privilege, like people who have access to medical care, studies, or I don't know, like trips, security, yes, security, a lot of things. And underprivileged is the opposite. Usually, people who live in the favela, they are underprivileged because they were born in a place which usually they don't have so many opportunities, all right, to succeed in life. So that's underprivileged, okay? It's a person who lives with short money usually, all right? So what I'm going to ask with underprivileged, do you think you had an underprivileged childhood? Do you think you had an underprivileged childhood? Next, extravagant. Extravagant is like someone who has a lot of money usually, and this person shows everyone that she or he has money. Like, he buys lots of things, he tells people that he has a lot of money, and he spends all his money with sometimes bullshit, and he shows it to everybody, especially on social media. So extravagant. You can be extravagant on on the way you spend your money and on how you show it to someone, or just the way you are. Sometimes the way you dress it's like extravagant, right? So my question is, do you think you are an extravagant person? Do you think you are an extravagant person? Next, social status. Social status. When we talk about social status, we're talking about the level of education, but more and more and more like your economy, like the quantity of money you've got, all right? So you can make part upper class, middle class, or working class. So that's what we call social status, all right? Or also, yeah, and also if you are married, you can say, oh, my social status is ta-na-na, ta-na-na, single, marriage, or whatever, divorced. You can also use it as social status, alright? Okay, so talking about your life, if you're single, married, or divorced, or I forgot the way you say we I forgot.
You.
Yeah, it's widow, yes, whatever. So what's your social status? You can talk about like the fortune you have, like B, C, or A, whatever, or if you're married or not, right, or divorced. Next is segregation. Segregation is something bad. It's like segregation is when you you push some people away because they don't belong to the same group as you. It's like I'm a very rich person, a wealthy person, and I'm just gonna make part of a group which I belong to. And all the poor people, I'm gonna push them away. So they're gonna be segregated because they're not gonna talk to me, I'm not gonna talk to them, I'm not gonna even see them. So the favelas are segregated because they are pushed away from the society, from the centers of the cities, all right? So that's segregation. You can segregate someone by their colors, their social status, their level of education. So please do not do that, all right? So that's a bad one. Now, my question is, let me see. Not a question, but I want you guys to write the concept of segregation. So write down below the concept of segregation, the concept you've got, not on Google, all right? Crime, well, crime is what happens every day because people are always looking for money, in hunger of money. So they're looking for money, so that's why they commit crimes. And most of the crimes are committed because of money, all right? Most of the crimes, not because of revenge, not because they were negligent, but because of money. Because most of the crimes are to steal, rob, kill because you want to rob, or like these kind of things, right? So most of the crimes are because of money. And okay, crime. And I'm going to ask with crime. I don't know what to ask with crime.
Have you ever witnessed a crime?
Yeah, homicide.
The question.
Yeah. My question. Oh, have you ever witnessed a homicide crime? Or a crime of a homicide? That's the question. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. Upper class. As I told you, talking about like social status or social life or something like that, we have upper class, middle class, and working class. So upper class, who make part of this are people who have a lot of money, a lot of influence. What?
You
Me?
are part of the.
I thought you were talking about something behind me, and I was like,
about you.
oh, cool, crazy. Okay, so it's like upper class, someone who have a lot of money, someone who has a lot of money, influence, who's very smart, and even though he's not rich but he has a lot of influence. So that's kind of that. Usually the deputies, senators, the president, famous people, famous singers, famous actors and actresses. Okay, and like how do we say, use influences digitais nowadays. Okay, so my question, I'm gonna ask the same question using the 3 examples, all right? Like upper class, middle class, and the working class. My question is, do you make part, in your mind, do you make part of the upper class, middle class, or working class? So we have here upper class, middle class, and working class. Working class, people who work a lot, usually for paying their budgets monthly, usually who earns from 1 to 5 or 6 minimum wages, and the middle class, like the people that are increasing, like succeeding in life, not that rich, not that poor, but in the middle of, which in Portuguese we call them classe B, classe C, yes?
Classe média.
Yeah, classe média, seria da B para C, né? Alright?
Exatamente.
Okay, going back. So my question, just repeating my question, is like, in your mind, do you make part or do you belong to the upper class, middle class, or working class? Next word, lifestyle. Well, as the word says, lifestyle is the way you lead your life, the way you live your life. Okay, so this is my lifestyle. Like, I like to go traveling. Sometimes I like to work doing this. I spend my vacation doing that. I do exercises. I swim. I practice sports. So that's a lifestyle. Lifestyle talks about, it says how you lead your life. So what's your lifestyle? What's your lifestyle? I'm a couch potato, but not any that. Next, aristocrat. Aristocrat is like, oh my god, I'm not going to explain aristocrat. Aristocrat is someone who is like polite, wealth, and treats people well and speak in a beautiful way, and is not extravagant, but he shows off, not shows off, but he's outgoing. It's like aristocrat. I am an aristocrat. Okay, my question is, tell me the name of a friend you think he or she looks like an aristocrat. Okay? Next, business. Business is a good word and it's a very easy one. It has to do with your work, your job. It's like, basically it's this, okay? So I have a degree in business. I need to work doing businesses. It's like this, okay? Well, let's close a business. Let's close a deal. So that's business, okay? It's like things you sell, you buy, things you work with, financial things, so a lot of things. So basically, most of the things we work with, we can call them business, okay? My question is, do you have your own business? Do you have your own business? Next, prosperous. I like prosperous because it's like we can use successful as synonym. It's like prosperous is when you prosper in life. It's something that worked well, something that is working out, something that's paying off. So prosperous. My question is, how prosperous is your life? How prosperous is your life? My life, thank God, is very prosperous, and I love my life. I wouldn't change a thing. I really love my life. All right, so poverty. Okay, if you are poor, you live in the poverty. Okay, it's like people who live on the breadline, they live in the poverty. So poverty is the opposite of wealthy, wealth. All right, so we have wealth, riqueza, and luxury, né? And luxuoso, something like that. And we have poverty, which is pobreza. All right, so my question is, tell me the percentage of people who live in the poverty in Brazil. Okay, tell me the percentage of people who live in the poverty in Brazil. Now we have privilege. Privilege is like, I already told you, like privilege, like people who are privileged, like is as an adjective, and this is the noun for privilege. All right, so oh, do you think I have privilege here? Do you think he has privilege in his works? Like this, all right? So someone who lives with privilege. My question with privilege is, okay, tell me one thing in your life you think it's a privilege. Tell me one thing in your life you think is a privilege. Now we have untouchable. Untouchable is like something you can't touch. Sometimes when we talk about some rights we have, okay, as human beings, the way the way of living with dignity, like living with dignity is an untouchable right, okay? You cannot change this, you cannot extinct this, all right? We have this right, we've got this right, ok? So, untouchable is something you cannot touch. Então, seria aqui algo intocável, por exemplo, ter uma vida digna, né? De acordo com a nossa Constituição, todo ser humano, né, precisa viver com dignidade, ter uma vida digna. Então a gente não pode tocar nisso, ok? É algo intocável, a gente não pode mudar, tá bom? A não ser que seja para melhorar, alright? So, untouchable. Let me see something untouchable. I don't know. Let me know about one thing that is untouchable for you in your life. So let me know something in your life that's untouchable for you, okay? Next, snob. So snob is a person who usually brushes people off, and sometimes they look down on someone. So that's a snob, someone who is like this and just like this, all right? So that's a snob. My question is, are you a snob person? Are you a snob person? But don't tell me lies, all right? Conflict is something that is necessary in a society. We need to have conflicts, like chaos, in order to have changes. If we don't have conflicts, we don't have changes, all right? So for a society to change throughout the years, it must have conflicts, right? So conflict is like something that is not good, but sometimes it's necessary. My question with conflict is, what's the biggest conflict in your life? What's the biggest conflict in your life? Next, politician. Politician is someone that works with politics. It's like Lula is a politician, Bolsonaro, Dilma. So they are politicians, alright? Because they work with this, politics. My question with politician, have you ever thought about being a politician? Have you ever thought about being a politician? Let's see if it's red. Yeah, it's red. Oh, red, no, green. Homeless. Homeless is someone who doesn't have a house, that lives in the streets, unfortunately. So we have a lot of homeless in Brazil, right? So homeless, all right? As you can see, it's a dog, it's a puppy. If he's here, it's because he has no house, unfortunately. So homeless is someone who doesn't have a house, that lives in the streets. My question with homeless is, do you know someone who is homeless? Do you know someone who is homeless? Now we have wealth. When we talk about wealth, we talk about fortune. We talk about someone who is rich. All right, so that's my wealth. So you can use wealth for money, for your health. It's like you are wealth because you have a great health. You are wealth because you have a lot of money. You are wealth because you are wealthy. Wealthy. You are wealthy because you have great friends with you. So my question is, what's wealth for you? What's wealth for you? It's friends, family, money, love. All right. So medical care. Medical care is what everyone needs to have a good life. It's the basic for someone living. It's like to have basic medical care, basic education, basic security. All right, so medical care is like, if you translate it into Portuguese, like cuidados médicos, what we have from SUS, for example. If you cannot afford for a hospital, like you can look for SUS, as Sistema Único de Saúde, and have your medical care. All right. My question with medical care is, I don't know what to ask with this medical care. What do you think about the medical care we have from SUS? What do you think we have? Now, what do you think about the medical care we have from the Sistema Único de Saúde in Brazil? Now have treatment. Okay, treatment is like the way you treat people. You treat people, as I told you, treat is the verb and treatment is the noun. My question with treatment is, do you consider good or bad the treatment you've got from your parents? Do you consider good or bad the treatment you've got from your parents? Now, prejudice is something very bad. It's like something that affects people in a way that it's not good. So when you act with prejudice towards people is like not good. Okay, it's like you segregate them. You talk about their color, especially if you're talking about black people like me. You talk about their sexuality, you talk about their religions. Like when you act with prejudice towards someone, it's not good. So don't do that. Okay? My question is, what is prejudice for you? What is prejudice for you? Now I have socialite. Socialite's like someone who's glamorous, someone who has a lot of money. It's like the Kardashians. The Kardashians are socialites. So yeah, that's it. Socialite. Socialite is like if you live with glamour, if you have a glamorous life, if you have a rich life, a wealthy life, you are a socialite. Anita is a socialite. I think it's the most famous socialite, Brazilian socialite. So my question is, who is the most famous socialite in the USA? Who's the most famous socialite in the USA? The Kardashians are very famous. Now we have suburb. Suburb is like a part of the town, a part of the city that is not so good, like where poor people live. It's like the slum, the favela, so we call them the suburb. Okay, so the past part of the city, we call them the center, we call downtown, and the segregated part, the poor part, we call them suburb. It's like Vila da Penha, Honório Gurgel, it's a suburb in Rio de Janeiro, okay? Like Honório Gurgel is a suburb in Rio de Janeiro. It's a favela, it's a place where only poor people live in. Alright, so a question with suburb. Have you ever lived in the suburb? Have you ever lived in the suburb? Okay, now hunger. Hunger is like the noun for hungry. Alright? Hungry is when you are hungry, you want to eat, you need to eat. So like when you need to eat, you're hungry, and this we call the noun for this we call hunger. All right, so a lot of people die in the world because of hunger, because they have no money and they don't have, they can't afford for their food to survive. So it's like, it's bad. All right, so it's bad. It's really bad. Okay, my question is, what's the percentage of people that die because of hunger in Brazil? What's the percentage of people who die because of hunger in Brazil? Yeah, bad. Okay, just reviewing the vocabulary, as I already told you. Oh my gosh, poor with 3 O's. Bad. Okay, so just reviewing the vocabulary we have here: rich, poor, luxury, slum, privilege, underprivileged, extravagant, social. Oh, sorry. Social. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill him. Social. I'm so sorry, but okay. Social status, segregation, crime, upper class, lifestyle, middle class, working class, aristocrat, business, prosperous, poverty, privilege, untouchable, snob, conflict, politician, homeless, wealth, medical care, treatment, prejudice, socialite, suburb, and hunger. So guys, do your homework, and if it's necessary, you study a little bit more, go over the video because it's a good one. I tried to work here with you. Social status is right here, and let me see if social status is wrong here. It's wrong here. Social status as well. I'm gonna kill Luis. Okay, let me change it here. I'm not gonna change. I think it's good already. I'm done for today. Okay, so let's finish the class right here. I hope you enjoyed this class. Share this video with your friends who have a good level of English, who have a good English level. So that's it. Bye bye, folks. See you next time.